Hey, what's up, guys? It's Eminem High 12, my second episode of Smack Talk Discussions. Today I'm with gentlevader. What's up, man?
What's up, man? How you guys doing out there?
I'm pretty good. I gotta go to an anniversary and a little bit later for my grandparents, so that should be a lot of fun. See all my cousins and stuff. So, you want to start the first topic off?
Yeah, man. This could actually be a whole show, really, if you think about it. But where? Let's go. Where TNA messes up? Um, it might actually be easier to say where TNA doesn't messes up. Now, let me go ahead and start by saying that I love TNA. It's my number one show. I actually prefer to watch that over WWE. Even though I do think WWE is the big show, that's where everybody wants to go. But the two things I think where TNA messes up is it's building their storylines and character development, and I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Uh, I really do. I think that they don't know what they have until it's too late, almost.
Yeah.
And it's either they miss an opportunity or they do the exact opposite, and that is whenever they have something real good, they just go ahead and put it out there real quick, and then it dries up. I don't think they take the time really to put the thought and build the storylines like Vince does in WWE.
Yeah.
And that all leads to building up those big characters and those big guys. I mean, they got people. They got original TNA people in their show. They got the Samoa Joes and the AJ Styles, and they have that young X Division crew coming up. But I think they just need to stop relying on, hey, let's put them in a match and see what happens, and start building those really awesome storylines around them. What do you think, man?
I think that some of the executions on the storylines is kind of weird. Like the thing with Angelina Love, Winter, and Velvet Sky, that should have ended at last year's lockdown, in my opinion. And then they ended up releasing Angelina, and now Winter's doing nothing.
Yeah, man, I totally agree. I watched the show with my wife, and we were all about that storyline. We really were like, oh my god, what's going to happen with that? And then what did happen with that? Angelina got released, but that wasn't until a few weeks ago. That storyline's a couple months old. Winter's been, I think, inactive for over 60 days now. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, and Velvet got released too.
Oh, did she? See, I haven't heard that, man. I'm behind the curve. What in the hell are they thinking?
Yeah, possibly the three best divas. I mean, knockouts, whatever. With the exception of maybe Tara and Mickie James. One of them's inactive, and the other two got released. What the hell are they thinking?
I have no clue. They had the best female division in wrestling, and it's quickly going to start going to crap. Now, even here in the Velvet Sky's gone, she was such a huge draw. Even at live shows, house shows, she was the person to go see. And wow, that's tough to hear.
The only good news for me is that maybe, because on Shop TNA, when someone gets released, their merchandise goes down in price.
That's true, man. And another good thing is maybe they'll show up on the indie scene.
Yeah, maybe she'll come around my town and I get to meet her and see her or whatever.
Yeah, man. I live in North Carolina, so I'm pretty much in wrestling country there. I get to see indie shows every single weekend. I bring in some big names every once in a while, but I can drive 3 or 4 hours and see quite a few cool people. And hell, could we see Angelina and Velvet, beautiful people in the indie scenes? That would be amazing.
Yeah, there's a show around where I live. I meet a good amount of people. Like, I'm meeting a ton of, old WWE guys. Like, I was supposed to meet Zema Ion, but he had to defend the TNA X Division Championship that day, so they had to get him off the show. But, I'll be meeting Paul Bearer for the 3rd time, Ron Simmons, Nunzio, Al Snow. That should be cool, meeting Al Snow. Who else will I be meeting? And I'll be meeting the Boogeyman again.
Nice, man. Yeah, dude, Zema Island is really, really cool in person. And if you actually get to go see a show, he is awesome to see. He is great, man.
Yeah.
I've seen him 4 or 5 times, and I've seen him so many times. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. You meet a wrestler and they remember you. I don't know if it's creepy stalker or it's, hey, I'm a fan of you and you're really cool, but Zema Island is really cool.
Yeah, people give him heat because he didn't seem to care that he almost paralyzed Jesse Sorensen.
Actually, yeah. I've heard some feedback about that too, but honestly, he does feel really bad about that, and he has visited Jesse Johnson in the hospital. Okay, kayfabe's gonna say that. I remember that one pay per view where he was walking down the ramp and he said started talking shit to him. I mean, honestly, they're friends. They traveled together.
Yeah.
They went. They worked out together. They were the new guys in TNA. That group, of X Division stars that came up with Mark Haskins and I can't remember, Anthony Nese. Those guys. They worked out and traveled together. I've seen TNA shows where they were sitting next to each other and talking. They were buddies. That was a freak accident, and that's kind of weird that people say that he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. And someone like Austin Aries reminds me a lot of Chris Jericho, because in WCW, Jericho was a cruiserweight and Austin Aries was an X division. Now Jericho went to the heavyweight division and won the title. Austin Aries went from X division champion to heavyweight champion. I just find that funny. But
yeah, I do too. I saw that he was bulking up too. I of course never saw that coming for him to go from the straight from the X to the heavyweight title, but I saw him bulking up. I remember saying to myself, he's putting on a little bit of weight. But we're in a different era of wrestling now than it was the land of the giants back in the freaking 80s. Now small guys can win the title and small guys can keep it. I mean, CM Punk, he's not that big of a guy either, but look at him, he's ruling.
Yeah.
So I never complained about a smaller guy or somebody that maybe worked their way up. And I think that gives a little bit more validity to the other belts also. When they do that. The X Division title is a great title. A lot of awesome people have held that title. And it just like the Intercontinental title. Back in the day, when I first grew up watching wrestling in the 80s and in the 90s, the Intercontinental was just as coveted as the heavyweight title. It was a totally different group. But it was a huge, huge deal when you went from that mid-card B wrestler up to that A wrestler and at least even had a chance to fight for that title.
Yeah. Like, Austin Aries is my favorite TNA wrestler, and where TNA does not mess up is putting the right people at the top, I think. Like, they had guys like Angle at the top, Bobby Roode. Now they have Aries, who I think could be the best wrestler in TNA. Between him and Kurt Angle, those are the two best wrestlers in TNA, I think.
And that's where you and I agree for sure, man. I've always loved Kurt Angle. That's one of the main reasons I switched and started watching it. I think it was 06 or so, 07, somewhere around there. And Kurt was ruling in the main event Mafia with an awesome little stable. And then Austin Aries came in and he had it all, man. I don't think I really was turned to the Austin Aries bandwagon until I met him in person, and he was awesome. He was still heel, but he still had just that charisma, and to sit and talk to him for a little bit, automatically I was a fan. And seeing him, no matter what, it was a small house show or putting him on the big matches, he could do it, and he does it well. No one could do it like him right now.
He had a phenomenal match with Brian Kendrick at Bound for Glory, actually.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. That could have been match of the night, actually. And that was the opener. Well, actually, the opener was Tag Team Inc. against Mexican America. Sadly, Mexican America won that. I know. I know you are not a fan of Mexican America, but
I am not. I am a fan. Actually, now I think I just watched a match a little bit ago, and it was who's the big guy? Hernandez. I'm actually an alright fan of Hernandez.
I like Hernandez.
Maybe I hate them because they're heel, and they do their job well. I think that sometimes in wrestling, there's some people I just dislike, but then there's some people that I hate. And the people I hate, maybe it's because I'm supposed to hate them because they're heel. And if so, then hey, kudos, you did your job, buddy.
Yeah, me it's the other way around. I usually like them because they're heel and hate them because they're babyface. Like, my least favorite wrestler of all time is John Cena.
That's another show, man. I hate him too.
Yeah, but he's in WWE. But I don't think Anarchy is the best wrestler. I think Sarita and Rosita are actually okay. But Hernandez I've always liked. I just preferred him in LAX.
Yeah, Hernandez I do like too. He's a big dude. He's a little bit stiff in the ring, but for the most part, he's just the big guy power. You know what I'm saying? And he's built. He's like I say, he's a little bit stiff in the ring, but I don't know. I'm curious to see how this thing is going to go with Chavo. I know they were looking for another person. I think I've only seen a couple matches with Chavo in it, and I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I'm definitely going to root for them, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I'm glad that Chavo is in TNA now because he was treated like absolute crap in WWE. So
Yeah, dude, me and my buddies here talk about that quite a bit, and that is, holy crap, how many storylines are going to be built around one or two people in WWE, and everybody else just get left out to dust. It's sad sometimes.
yeah, like the last storyline he had was with Hornswoggle. Really? Not even
Yeah,
lying.
I
And
don't
he
know what happened.
lost.
He's not that bad.
No, he's not. And he lost to Hornswoggle in a no holds
Ooh.
barred match. Chavo. Hornswoggle did this
Yeah,
prank where he ran into a door and this pan hit him in the face, and Hornswoggle pinned him 1, 2, 3. Like,
yeah,
really? That's what you're gonna do with someone as talented as Chavo? Really?
yeah. Yeah, that's a time to switch over, man. At that time, you know you're not in the right place when you lose to Hornswoggle.
Yeah.
All right, what other topics we got, man?
I remember you said, who will beat the Undertaker streak if someone will?
Gosh, yeah, that is something that we talk about. Of course, always around April WrestleMania time.
I think it's
But
Brock Lesnar.
it's what?
I think it's Brock Lesnar.
I think Brock is the only person right now that could even put on a match with the Undertaker at that level. Period. But I'm still not sure if the streak will get broken. It's really when you start going down the list of people who can even is on the same playing field as Taker these days. It's very short, if there's any at all. And Brock is one person that gets brought up, but you would think by now they'd already be building a storyline around that. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I mean, even I don't even think Punk could put on the match with Taker. I just don't think he's at that level right now. I really don't.
I think he is. I just don't think that like a power and technical. I'm not sure if they would blend very well. But,
Yeah, and that could be it too. You know what's funny is you ever notice like the ROH guys how they're ruling right now? You
yeah.
got Austin
Aries, Punk, Bryan.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's good.
those are some of the best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah, they really, really are, man. I remember we do get the pay-per-views over here where I'm at. They come on Mondays, the following day after they're shown live. And holy crap, those Bryan, Matt, and those Daniels matches and the Punk matches are amazing, man. Like I wasn't a huge WWE fan. Really, I didn't start watching until I came over here. But they actually come on TV over here, surprisingly. So I started really getting back into watching them, and wow, those were some amazing matches, man.
Yeah, and I believe there's this guy Kevin Steen. I heard he was a great wrestler as well in ROH.
Really,
Yeah.
you got some FCW guys coming up too, right? Or I guess NXT now.
Yeah.
How's Antonio Cesaro doing?
He's the U.S. champ.
Nice. That's good to hear, man.
He beat Santino, but I personally think that the person that should have beat Santino for the U.S. belt was Drew McIntyre, because I think he's so underused.
Let me see. I can't remember who that is. I'm not
Scottish.
super familiar. Not familiar with the younger guys on the WWE roster.
If you look at,
does he have his hair pulled back into a ponytail?
Sometimes he does, but it's long. Yeah.
Okay. I think I might know who it is. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious about him. He was one of the guys that kind of caught my eye. Just catching some videos of FCW and whatnot. And I was like, this guy might be all right. And I see Damian Sandow. I saw him cut some promos before I had left back at the beginning of the year. Is he doing anything?
No, not really. But he definitely has a bright future, I think. And
Is he?
yeah,
Okay.
I remember one of my friends said that he was awesome in person. He was in full character. I remember what he said. He said, "Please, my something, wait for my speech to..." I don't know what he said. It was something, like, totally out of this world. But,
he's one of them that actually returned. I wrote the whole FCW roster for Autograph, and he was one of them that returned pretty quickly.
yeah,
And,
Sheamus came from FCW.
yeah, if you look at like who came up from FCW and like look at basically their alumni, they had some really, really good people. Since they moved that territory from Memphis, I think it was, to Florida, they've pumped out some pretty cool people, man.
Oh yeah, and I think Brodus Clay actually came from FCW as well.
I think he did too. Rodius Clay, yeah. Shoot, just pretty much Ted DiBiase.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, they have some really really good talented guys. There's actually a guy about to he's gonna move down to Florida the third week in September. His name is KC McKnight. I don't know what name he's gonna go by in FCW. He is a wrestler from the Fayetteville area. This
Yeah,
guy is probably one of the most talented people in the state right now. He's going to be signing with them. Keep your eye out for KC, man. He is amazing, amazing guy.
yeah. Uh,
So maybe got some stuff coming up.
all right, so I want to move on to the next topic.
All right.
The best female wrestlers currently and of all time.
Wow, best female wrestlers. Okay. For me, of all time, I would say, it's between female wrestlers more like Jacqueline and Molly Holly. Those type of wrestlers. Molly Holly actually held the hardcore championship in
Yeah.
WWE.
Oh yeah, for about 20 seconds, and Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She took it from Hurricane Helms. But for me, when I look at a female wrestler, I don't so much care too much about what they look like in the ring, which that's really what it's about nowadays. But can they actually put on a decent match? You know, do I care, or the match I fast forward through? You know, or do I care to go get something to eat while that match is on during the live pay-per-view?
Yeah.
I don't see that these days, so I would say my favorite wrestlers are the ones that actually had technical skill. Now, Jacqueline, she could actually wrestle, and Molly Holly, she actually could wrestle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Currently, I would say anybody that's even on that same level with them right now would be maybe Tara
Yeah.
from TNA, maybe Madison Rain. I mean, she, believe it or not, she actually is pretty good. You know,
Yeah.
she's has that annoying voice character that people just don't want to hear about. But when she's there, she actually could put on a match, and that's really rare.
Yeah. I actually think Eve is a very good female wrestler at the moment.
Eve?
Yeah, from WWE. Eve.
Gotcha.
I don't know what happened to Beth Phoenix. I think she got hurt or something. And
No, that's right. I forgot. Beth Phoenix and Natalia both were really good.
yeah. And I think Mickey James and Gail Kim are very good as well.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, man! You cannot count them out either. Mickey, I still think, I don't know. There's just something that's missing about her. But if she does find it or tweaks, you know, maybe it's her moveset or something. I'm not sure. I can't put my finger on it. But I think in a few more years, she'll just be phenomenal and at that level where I'll actually want to see her.
Yeah, for me, all-time best female wrestler is Trish Stratus.
Trish, wow, yeah.
I mean, I totally agree with you. I look more at the wrestling side than the looks, but I think if you want to be at the main event picture, then you got to have both because, or at least in WWE, because I think Vince is a bit of a perv. No, I'm kidding. But
yeah, no doubt, and you're totally right. I didn't even think about her. Her and Tori Wilson kind of revolutionized and moved the whole female division towards that. Hey, I'm hot, I'm sexy, I got mic skills, and I can wrestle.
Yeah, same thing with Lita as well.
Yeah, Lita too. Lita, I don't know if you've ever read Lita's book, but her in-ring wrestling skills came from literally her watching a show and flying to Mexico for no reason and learning to wrestle. And then, of course, then she moved to the Carolinas where she ran into the Hardy Boys. And then, of course, from there, it was, you know, we all know what happens. But her skills came from getting trained by some awesome, awesome wrestlers. And it really showed in the ring. She was amazing.
Yeah. And who else? Oh, I thought Maurice she was hot, but she also had great mic skills and great in-ring ability. Candice was getting good. I mean, someone like Kelly, she's like hot and all, but she doesn't really have the in-ring ability, I don't think.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. Just eye candy whenever she gets in there. maybe tagging her with somebody that's good and letting her ride the coattails, but she just doesn't have it. You know,
Yeah.
it just, you have to have it, and she's just one of those people that doesn't. Don't get me wrong, I think she's beautiful, and she's awesome in person. One of the sweetest people I've ever met, female wise, as a wrestler that I met face to face. She was awesome, but she just doesn't have it.
Yeah. Trying to think of the next topic that we had. I tried to check.
I have it. It's a best storyline right now.
And of all time.
And of all time. Oh, man. That is tough.
Would you consider
okay.
ODB and EY a storyline, or is that just...
Who's that? ODB and EY?
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. Who else has ever held the mixed tags like that?
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone.
That's the absolute main reason why I tune into Impact Wrestling every week, to see those two.
Me and my wife are the exact same way. We love them, man.
Yeah.
We love them. They are crazy as hell. You never know what the hell Eric Young is going to do.
And I love his TV show.
I haven't seen that yet.
Ah, so funny. And he's... and thank God no, like, fish or shark, like, grabbed his beard and, like, ripped it off. That would be awful.
He does have a monster beard going on right now.
I think it's a good look, but it is a pretty monstrous beard.
Epic. But, you know, I would say a storyline that I'm just really, really loving right now, and I've always been a fan of stables back in the day, so my old favorite storyline and my new favorite storyline they kind of echo each other. I would say new storyline right now, I'm loving the Aces and Eights. Now, I'm behind. I've only seen just a few TNA shows since May, but I love stables. I love it when big groups of guys get together and fight other big groups of guys, you know, and there's groups and they can build storylines around them and people break off. And like I said, I was a fan of the Main Event Mafia, and I love heel stables, man. I love them. And I'm so glad to see TNA ride this out for weeks and weeks and months and do something with the storyline, because they're building just greatness with this storyline.
Yeah, I mean, I like the beginning of it. I think it's me. Maybe it's just me, but I think it's getting a little stale now. But I think it's okay.
Is it okay? See, I don't actually go back and read like storylines on what happens throughout the week or spoilers and whatnot. You know, I'll catch up from talking to people. All you gotta do is watch a couple shows and you're pretty much caught up. You know, on what's happening with the flashbacks they do on the pay-per-views, and they show the storylines leading up to stuff. But yeah, I just like it. So that kind of what's your current favorite storyline?
My current favorite storyline. Wait, do you say that UI and ODB could be considered a storyline or just a team that's going on?
I would say they're more of a team, because they really haven't. Maybe if they beefed with somebody, you know, another couple even. Or I couldn't say they really beat us. They do have their own little segments and whatnot, but I couldn't say they were a story.
No. Trying to think.
You know, in WWE, I do, and I was so glad to see them do this, and it was such a surprise. The whole love triangle thing with AJ, that was just brilliant. No one saw it coming, and then everything, even her leading up to the manager spot, was just golden, man.
Yeah, I thought that was good. I'm trying to think of a current one. I don't really... This whole CM Punk Jerry Lawler thing, as much as I love Punk, and I do like Jerry Lawler, but I'm not sure if I really am behind that too much. Maybe I'll just go with the Aces and Eights thing right now, because I don't really think WWE has any good storylines. I think I'm missing something, but alright, I'll just name some of them off. Jerry Lawler and Punk is whatever. I'm not too big on that. Del Rio and Sheamus, I think is, I don't want to see that crap anymore. They don't mesh very well in the ring.
Yeah.
Because Sheamus is more of a brawler and Del Rio's more of a high-flying technical wrestler. They just don't blend. Uh, yeah, I'll just go with aces and eights right now.
I would say my favorite old school storyline is one thing that really got me back into wrestling. And as a wrestling fan, I've talked to a lot of other fans, and pretty much there's a period where you just kind of stop watching wrestling for a while, and then you get back to it.
The same thing with
And
me.
you have the same thing too.
Yeah, I stopped watching late '09 and totally missed out through 2010 completely. But then I
Right.
kind of got back into it in like mid 2011.
Yeah, with me, it's happened a couple times. I started watching wrestling in the '80s when I was a little kid, and I grew up with the Rockers and Hulk Hogan, the Warrior, just classic guys. And then I stopped watching. I got back in whenever I was in high school, and this is where my favorite old school storyline comes in, and that is one of the first few episodes I can remember getting back into it was whenever Triple H married Stephanie McMahon through the drive-through,
That was
and
awesome.
that storyline started the whole McMahon Helmsley era right there, where that group was ruling everything. They were making all the matches. They held every title within that little stable that they had, that group, and really two people stood up to them. And I think Vince had the storyline going so well. It's some of the main reasons why these guys are so popular still to today. And there were two main people at the time that stood up to them, and that was Kurt Angle, who came in, and of course they wanted to bring him in as a heel, and it just didn't work. People hated, I'm sorry, excuse me, they wanted to bring him in as a face, and it didn't work. He came off as this cocky, clean-cut guy, and he came in, he got booed. He still was always in that kind of gray area as far as can he go heel or face. Nowadays he can't even do that. But so Kurt was one of them that stood up to him, and The Rock was actually another one that stood up to Triple H because anyone else that really opposed him, they got beat down. They were nothing. Stone Cold also came up in that area. I mean, they just the storylines that they had built at that time were just so freaking epic, and they spent so much time on these guys that they're beyond superstars nowadays. And it was a good time in wrestling.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you knew this, but the person that started that, it was supposed to be just Test and Stephanie. But then China came up to Triple H and told him what she wanted to do, and have him marry Stephanie. So it was China that actually started all that. I'm not sure if you knew that.
I didn't. I remember, God, around WrestleMania 15-ish, shit really started hitting the fan when China defected back, and then Triple H left DX, and they went to the corporation. So man, just so many cool things happened back then that they spent months and months building up, and you never saw it come in. And there were so many different people and so many different factions, and it was good, man. It was a good storyline with the corporation. So I guess you could say the corporation versus anyone was a beautiful storyline.
Yeah.
And I guess that was the whole Attitude Era.
Yeah. So, crap. What was our next storyline? I mean, topic.
That's it, man. That was all of them that we had, and we added the Taker one. So,
All right. Do you want to end it there, or do you want to put on one more topic?
oh man, do you have one?
I'm actually trying to think. Oh, wrestlers in WWE and TNA that are underused.
Wrestlers. Yeah. Okay, well, I can pretty much start with WWE right off the top of my head because there was a few people I really, really wanted to see, and I really wanted to see what they would do with them. And I'll tell you right now, what the hell happened with Randy Orton? What the hell happened with Ted DiBiase? And what the hell happened with Cody Rhodes? You have three phenomenal wrestlers right there. What happened to them? Maybe I don't follow WWE that much, but Randy Orton is amazing in person. He's an intense wrestler. He's smart. He's got the ring psychology. What the hell happened to Randy Orton?
Well, he's actually going to go after the heavyweight championship soon. He had a #1 contender match against Del Rio, but Del Rio won. Ted DiBiase got injured, and Cody Rhodes is doing a storyline with Sin Cara now.
Okay, and does he still have the IC?
No, he lost it to Christian, and Christian lost it to Miz.
Okay.
But
Gosh.
he is doing something. Ted DiBiase got injured, but even when he wasn't injured, they did nothing with him. And Orton he's still up there, but he's not. He hasn't really been doing much. And a few
Right.
guys that I want to talk about, Drew McIntyre's one. If you really have been following him, then you would know, like, why the hell isn't he, like, heavyweight champion by now? Because he has all of it. He has a good look, great in-ring ability, great mic skills, a lot of charisma. He has this cool Scottish accent, and he's a tall guy, and he can do a pretty damn good big boot. And he has a very impactful finisher as well, so he's got
Oh yeah.
he's got all the tools. He's just mid-carding superstars doing nothing, which, quite frankly, him being one of my favorite superstars, it pisses me off. JTG, Tyson Kidd, Justin Gabriel, Kofi Kingston, even though he's tag team champion, he really needs to get into that big main event spot because he has it. Who else? You're right about Ted DiBiase on how when he comes back, he should be doing something. Cody Rhodes should get some belt soon. I mean, I'm glad he's doing something, but, you know, Heath Slater gets on TV, but he loses almost every single match.
Nice.
They haven't been doing much with Kurt Hawkins. He did this thing with Tyler Rex, but Tyler Rex got released, so that team is done.
That was a pretty good team. I actually
like
them.
that team. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with Zack Ryder, because but I don't know what's going on with him. So
yeah, I think a good way for WWE, this is just a personal opinion of a fan, a good way for them to start building up some of these guys would be to put them and build their tag team division back again. I love tag team wrestling, man. That's what I grew up with. Even nowadays, even whenever I ref matches in the area where I'm from, I love refing tag team matches the best, man. I mean, and that's just a fan of me, that comes out. But it's a good way to put these guys together, get them some experience. The matches are a little bit longer. They take up a little bit more TV time, but you kind of get to see how guys work together. You don't have to put them in a match that's 7-8 minutes long and let them botch or let it be boring or whatnot. They can tag in and out and make things happen and build storylines. I would love to see them start building up their tag team division more.
That's how Miz and John Morrison built up. Miz, they both spread apart. Miz became U.S. champion. And John Morrison all of a sudden became in this WWE Championship picture and was Intercontinental Champion before that. So usually after they go from a tag team, they go to a mid-card belt and then all of a sudden they go up to the top.
Yeah, man, it's just a good chance for them to start out and build something out. Somebody else I think is underused in WWE is freaking Jack Swagger. I loved his wrestling abilities, man, in the ring. He could always put on a good match, and I loved his technical skills. Whenever they started chain moves together, I thought he was great. I know he lacks that charisma, and maybe that's what he needs, but that's just going to come from, getting out there, putting a mic in his hand, letting him sink or swim, and seeing what he can do.
Yeah, he doesn't, like I remember my dad saying, there's no pop about him, there's nothing.
Yeah.
He has good in-ring ability. I mean, he's okay on the mic, I guess, but there's nothing really about him. He was heavyweight champion for a little bit, lost it a month later, and did nothing since then. Trying to look around my room, seeing guys that I've seen.
Yeah, but he's another one, a guy that could team with somebody, anybody really, and let's see what he does from them.
Yeah. Let's see. Dang it. Let's see. I think that's all I really have. For underused guys.
TNA is a totally different story. I think they used everybody, I think, but they don't develop everybody to that superstar ability. Like I tell you right now with the Bound for Glory series. Wait, did you say Bound for Glory just happened?
I know Bound for Glory. I was talking about last year with Aries and.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, because are they still doing the BFG series then?
Yes, they are. I think they have 5 guys in this time. It's RVD, Bully Ray, James Storm, Jeff Hardy, And I just saw Impact. I should know.
Kurt?
No, Kurt got kicked out of it because he lost to Hardy.
Okay.
Hardy, Harvey D, Bully Ray,
Storm?
James Storm. Yeah, James Storm. There's one more.
Okay. See, and right now that is great. I love the Bound for Glory series. And I love the
Oh,
too.
and Samoa Joe.
Okay, Joe's still in it. Good. But I love the series because it brings in those people, and it really does bring those people that's might have kind of been sitting around in the back, and they have been building storylines around them. It really builds them up.
Even if they don't win the Bound for Glory Fatal 4-Way match, it's at least you got on TV, and they usually like to build them up even more, but not like at Bound for Glory.
Exactly. It's just great to see some of those people. Like, I think RVD is very underused.
Yeah.
And I know that the storyline where Abyss beat him out, and I guess that was late last year. RVD still has not come back from that absence that he had, and he didn't push. He didn't get the push. I think at the top.
Yeah, and I think RVD and Austin Aries would be a phenomenal match.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I am seeing Mr. Anderson come back around in the picture a little bit. I'm not super sold on Mr. Anderson personally, but let's see, who's somebody else? Somebody else I think is really underused is Magnus.
Oh yeah, I like him. Yeah.
He's great. He's okay on the mic. He's a little bit wishy-washy, but he's great in the ring, man. I love watching him. I love watching him wrestle. And I thought him and Samoa Joe as a tag team, wow, where the heck did that come from? That was great, man.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that team.
Yeah, I did too. That's because they had it, man. They had it. They were great. They put on a great match.
Yeah, and he has a really nice elbow drop too. Same thing.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does, man.
Him and Eric Young, I think, have really good elbow drops, but that's just me.
Who's that, Eric Young?
Yeah, have you seen his elbow drop?
Yeah, I sure have, man. I sure have.
It's pretty good.
I'm really, really, like, one of my favorite people.
Yeah, EY is so entertaining. And he's very talented, too.
Yeah. But I think freaking Bully Ray's doing exceptional. Holy crap. I still don't even think that dude's at the prime of his career.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's going to have to go back to WWE. I'm not sure, but that guy is in great shape. His mic skills are phenomenal. They build kind of weird storylines around him lately, but if they ever give him a push, man, I think he would just run with it.
Definitely the most believable thing in wrestling in a long time.
Yeah, man, I freaking love that guy. And then I'm really, really digging Christopher Daniels these days. He is excellent.
Yeah, he was one of the first guys, because I started watching TNA in 2004. He was one of the guys that really got me to really watch it. It was him, AJ, and Samoa Joe. And, of course, my dad said, hey, look, Jeff Hardy's on this other company, which made me start watching. But it was guys like Daniels, AJ, and Samoa Joe that kept me watching,
Yeah, exactly. It's just, TNA to me just has such a different feel. Has much more of an old school feel to it, so, guys back in the day was WCW versus WWF, and it was you were one or the other pretty much. Every once in a while, so the guys jumped over, they were hated.
Yeah.
But to me, TNA has that old school WCW feel to it, and I still enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just dig it, and I also love going to their shows live. I think their live shows are so much better than WWE.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to go to a TNA show. And I might be attending WWE Night of Champions this year, but the only thing that's holding me back is I've seen it might be Punk for the belt, which might ruin the whole entire night. So,
God, it's time to put Cena away for a little bit, man. It's time to stop. It's time to stop involving him in every single storyline and building that. How is he the main event at every pay-per-view, even though it's not a championship event? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's time to let it go, man. It's ruining it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's okay in the ring, but he's not as good as people think he is.
I don't think he's okay in the ring. That Rock Cena match just was so disappointing
Oh,
to
I
me.
know that may have been the third or fourth best match of the night, maybe.
Yeah, I was. If The Rock can't make you look good in the ring, I'm not truly a Cena hater. I guess I just it's time to let it go. It's time to put some other people up there in the
Yeah, I
spotlight.
mean, I think he's okay at best in the ring, but not nowhere better than that. Yeah,
No, I don't put him up in that.
he has good
But
matches with the right people, but very very overrated.
I think to be on the top and be in that spot, to be a Rock or to be a Taker or to be a freaking Hulk Hogan, you have to have good matches with everybody. That's what's gonna do it, man. And there's
Especially with
tons
The
of,
Rock.
especially with that. You have it. Kurt Angle's like that. I don't see Kurt Angle putting on bad matches. I don't. You don't see really Daniel Bryan putting on bad matches, no matter what. If he's with the big guys, he still puts on a decent match. You don't see him putting on a bad match. You just don't do
Never.
it. He just doesn't have it.
Yeah, and Vince puts him with the right opponents. Punk. Jericho, he had phenomenal matches with him. Then he got paired up with Daniel Bryan. Well, those matches were amazing, especially at Over the Limit. Do you see that match?
Yeah,
Oh,
I did.
amazing.
I did. I
That was some
saw the
ROH
fight 2 or 3
stuff.
times in a row. Actually, it was awesome every time.
Yeah, but Cena, it's been over a year since I think he's had a good match, and that was at Money in the Bank 2011.
Yeah, somebody I really like. I know this is totally off subject. Listen, somebody I'm really liking right now is Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler's awesome.
That Money in the Bank match that he had, I was rooting for him the whole time. They did it right.
I was hoping Wade Barrett would return and win that because he was supposed to win this year. There was not supposed to be Money in the Bank this year. There was supposed to be Money at the Bank at WrestleMania, and Wade Barrett was going to win it. But he got injured about 2 weeks before that, so they had totally canceled that at Mania and have go back to Money in the Bank at the pay-per-view. So I guess their backup guy to win Money in the Bank was Dolph.
I'm glad to see it. He's super entertaining in the ring. Man, he could take bumps like no other. He's good. He's very entertaining.
There's a lot of pop about him. There's a lot of reasons to like him. Great charisma.
Yeah, totally dig him. Totally like watching him. Somebody else too. I've watched. I think I'm caught up on TNA pay-per-views. I'm not sure though. The one guy that really caught my eye that I really liked was Kenny King.
Oh yeah, I really liked him. I was rooting for him to beat Zima Ion.
Yeah, that was amazing, and I'm hoping I want to see him with some different people. I want to see him polish up his skills a little bit, and I want to see what he's like when he gets a mic in his hand because he still kind of has that greenish rooty feel to him in the ring. But man, he really looks like he loves what he's doing, and he really looks like he's having fun in there.
Yeah. So is that all you want to talk about?
Yeah, man. I appreciate you inviting me on the show.
Alright, well that was really fun. So, and guys, if you have not subscribed to gentlevader, please do that right now. Great collection and all that stuff. So, that's the end of Smack Talk Discussions, Episode 2. This is Eminem Hard 12 saying, signing out.